certainly a very powerful aspect.
No, that is very true. That's something else we've been seeing from these teams. Just the amount of stacks they're making with these Shadow Demons is kind of ridiculous. And SAG, they go for a Doom pickup, which I gotta admit I wasn't expecting because we haven't seen it at all recently.
Yeah, I've seen it a little bit, but this is kind of early, and Doom is one of those heroes where if you don't know what the safe lane matchup is, I feel like he can just end up not having a game at all. If you're playing as the position 3, that is, right? If you get counterpicked by like a CK, or I mean the MK is banned here. I guess the Ursa is also banned. So maybe that's why they feel a little bit more confident taking it in this situation, because they've already kind of laid all the groundwork with some of these initial bans. But a lot of hate on this Ember, it seems, in this situation. I think they really don't want Ember to have much of a game.
I don't quite blame them. Like, Setsu can be a real pain to deal with if he does get himself a good start and gets the hero he wants. And I believe Ember is one of those picks that he does love running. So I can't quite blame them for just trying to shut him down. And in a lot of these games, from what I've noticed, if Setsu's having a bad time, everyone else is having a bad time. Yeah,
he is really he's a super important part of the roster. I was actually looking over the stats today. So he hasn't played Ember in this event. They've been banning it a lot, and they do really seem to prioritize it. But the last time that he played it was about a month ago. So still this patch.
Right.
But we'll just have to see. And I think they might have maybe a little bit of flex. I think Monet, plays it occasionally, but so far it does seem like it's more than likely just going to be that mid laner. And SAG going for a relatively late Batrider pick. Could be position 4, could be the off lane. They might even want to threaten it mid a little bit here. Still have some options.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice flex pick there from SAG, and I guess it's another way of catching that Ember, if that's what you wish to do as well. They really are just stacking up on poor old Setsu. Still RNG, their 4th pickup now. They're yet to show us 2 more cores here. Still need that off lane, and still potentially need a safe lane, assuming the Ember is just going to be mid. And they're going to start using a bit of reserve time and see what they do go for here. I mean, you already know what you're going up against with these cores. Like, it should be a core Batrider as well. I assume this isn't going to be a position 4. They'll go for the Abaddon.
Well, I think it might be a position 4 just because they still have the last overall pick of the draft. And I don't think I mean, maybe the Batrider is going to end up going mid, but it seems like a waste to me to take a support with your last pick.
Right.
So, and I think the main thing that SAG were trying to do here with the Doom and the Batrider is they were trying to put a lot of pressure on whatever the safe lane pick was going to be for RNG, because you've already got the Shadow Demon. So you don't want to pick something that's too easily kited, but you also don't necessarily want to take an illusion carry. And then you've got the Doom, who can be a lane bully in the right situation, and makes it so that you don't really want to pick like a super tanky carry. And then you've also got the Batrider to worry about now, where you're like, oh man, what is even the pick anymore, right? Is there a carry that like answers all of these different threats on the board? RNG just ended up going for the Abaddon, and I got an Arc Warden coming out towards the end here.
That's something I wasn't expecting, Basskip. This is a hero I really haven't seen in a long time, and I don't know. Is this a good hero in this meta?
I don't know how good it is, but I think it can be quite good in this situation against the Luna, and I think they wanted... I'm not sure what the laning setup is going to be exactly, but however they end up laning this, the Arc Warden is kind of the real carry in this game. And SAG, they do have the Batrider, but beyond that or the Doom, whichever one of them ends up being core, they don't really have that much to really get up in the Arc Warden's face. So I think it looks pretty good here, though. I haven't seen the hero for a while.
It has been a long time. SAG, their final pickup now. We saw the last ban Storm coming out from RNG, which is fairly standard because you can't really allow DD to play that Storm. He is just way too dangerous.
Yeah.
And a PO. Okay.
All right.
Okay, they've confused us. They've debated us, Basskip. It looks like it is going to be the POS 1 PO.
All right, and then it's mid Doom, and then 4 Luna, 3 Bat. Is that the?
I guess so. It should be potentially just a 4 Luna here.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the idea of like 3 Luna. So
seems
who
a bit
knows
ugly.
what's happening here? This is kind of weird. This is very different, I think, from the standard drafting from both of these two teams, and I think it also comes back to this idea of like both of these two teams, they know each other pretty well. They've been under the same banner previously, so there's always going to be that next layer that we aren't necessarily privy to. Like I imagine that if these teams have scrim partners, they're probably scrimming each other. So there's way more context than we're getting here, but this is pretty interesting. A lot of the end of the draft just ended up being like, okay, we have Batrider. What are you going to do to counter it? All right, we're going to Abaddon to counter your Batrider. And then the Arc Warden comes out and like, look, we don't feel like you have enough counters to the Arc Warden. And so Sparking Arrow are like, all right, it doesn't look like a good Luna game anymore. We don't want God King as our big position 1 to be counterpicked. So let's give him like whatever he wants, which I guess in this case is the Phantom Lancer. It's really good against the Arc.
Yeah, I'd say so, and you weren't wrong either. It is going to be a POS 4 Luna there, POS 3 Batrider. Okay, so it should be fairly interesting. Now, with these POS 4 Lunas, are we just building into auras? Are we bothering with the Aghanim Scepter, do you think?
You can kind of get whatever your team needs. I don't think the team needs a ton of extra damage this game, so I don't know if Ags is really the go-to. I'm imagining, just kind of some auras, maybe some standard supportive items. I'm just trying to think what the best or what items is the team needs to be able to function this game, if they're going to need a pipe or anything like that.
All right, we'll see how it goes. This is game 1 of the best of 3 lower bracket final. Winner of this goes directly through to the grand final, where they'll be playing up against Vici Gaming. And of course, unfortunately for the loser, they will be out of the league completely.
Yep.
But it's game 1. There's plenty of opportunities. We don't know who's going to win this one out quite yet. Though I do love to ask you, Basskip. I like putting you in these uncomfortable situations. Who do you think came out with the better draft?
I am. You know what? I'm kind of dubious on this. Like the Doom and now the position for Luna a little bit. I feel like SAG, in trying to be clever, have maybe put themselves in a little bit of an awkward spot. So I think I'm going to go with RNG here. I like their draft a little more, and Arc Warden is not a hero that really has to, especially with the builds that people are going on Arc Warden these days. It's not really so greedy anymore, right? It's all about like triple rates, treads, get a Maelstrom, maybe even build into the full Mjolnir, and that's your game, right? And you can really just kind of go from there. And SAG, a lot of their lineup is a lot slower. They've got a Batrider who is going to take a little while to get a blink or anything, and even then, there's an Abaddon on the other side. So I could definitely see a world here where SAG just get completely run at by RNG.
I can't disagree with that sentiment. I do agree. I think that SAG were a bit uncomfortable with that POS 1 Luna, and they just switched it up, and it could be a bit detrimental now in this game number 1. Then again, I hate watching Arc Warden, Basskip. This is probably, after Tinker, this is my most hated hero, this Arc Warden.
Oh, okay. Where's Broodmother on the list? Is Broodmother not that
I'll be frank, I love Broodmother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
but
one
you
of those...
like playing against Broodmother.
No, of course not.
Right.
But I'm one of those sickos that would play it.
Right, gotcha.
I'm guessing you're not a big fan.
I'm not a big Brood fan. I've been brooded in pubs too many times.
You're in a much higher bracket anyway. Like those guys, they'll just cheese every time they get the chance. So
yeah, there's lots of people that are like, time to Huskar or time to Brood or man, I can't believe we got 4 sweet techies free years of Dota 2. It was good times, man.
Oh, it really was.
I remember being in the crowd for that for like that announcement, for that reveal, and be like, you guys don't know what you're getting yourselves into. Like
I remember as well. I was living in Melbourne at the time, and I was watching it on TV, and I was like, why are they cheering? Why are they happy?
No, please. Anything but this. But yeah, I think here that SAG have just tried to be a little bit too cute with the drafting, and I do think it's the kind of thing that they needed to do. Again, going back to this idea of, look, RNG know their team pretty well. They've been kind of just doing, I feel, a lot of the same thing game after game here in the playoffs, and just, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but they've only really had one overall strategy. And I thought they needed to mix it up a little bit, but I'm not sure if this is quite the mix-up that I was hoping for.
Well, if there's a time to make drafts work, it's now. So SAG, they must be confident enough. We'll see if they can make it work. RNG, of course, like you said, they know what to expect from this team. If any team knows, it's RNG. See if they can shut down the powerhouse that has been SAG throughout this league, and even throughout the was it the past CDA DPO league? They won it out. I believe there was a tournament that they won out recently.
It was the first one. So
okay.
I think we've already had two.
Yeah.
So they won the first one when it was, I think that was just CDA. And then CDA DPL, which was the second one, I think they came last.
Okay.
So it's been a little bit of a bumpy ride for them, but they're certainly making waves, and they're looking good here. They're guaranteed top 3, no matter what. And did they top their group? Actually, they did, right?
They did. Yep.
Yeah. So, though it has seemed like Group B was the stronger of the two thus far.
Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely agree with that. We'll still see, though. The draft has... The game started now. So mid lane, Setsu is going to be there up against DD on that Doom. Not a matchup you get to see every day, the Doom versus Ember. Hard to know who it really favors here, but I imagine DD won't be too concerned about dying in this lane.
Yeah, it feels like it should be okay for the Doom. He's got quite a lot of magical damage. He's got the Infernal Blade. So I don't think the Flame Guard should be too much of a problem, but at the same time, he's pretty low armor, so the Sleight of Fist damage is going to start stacking up past a certain point, so we'll just have to see. Could also depend on whether or not DD gets a good creep. I don't know how many people could even say anything definitive about this matchup. It's not a very common 1v1 mid lane, but...
That's true. Of course, up that top lane, you'll see that core Abaddon being played by Flyone. He'll be up against God King on the PL, and they'll have Red Panda and September there backing them up. I first had assumed it was going to be a support Abaddon, but obviously that isn't the case. And, well, Disruption's out from Red Panda, but Flyone just going to try and fight back. Still, Curse of Avernus is going to be out on the poor Abaddon. And, looks like he won't really be able to fight Red Panda too much on this Shadow Demon.
Yeah, this is the one slightly nice thing about the Shadow Demon laning up against the Abaddon, so you can kind of make use of the curse yourself.
Seems a little broken.
They enabled it on Illusions for a reason, to try and buff Abaddon a little bit, and now he just has to suffer the consequences.
Well, it's at that bot lane, the one we haven't looked at quite yet. OP God and Felix Schauber going to be there up against Super and Monet. Now, this could be a little dangerous for the Arc Warden, right? It's any lane with a Batrider, and it generally does favor the Batrider early on. I don't really get scared of the Luna Pos 4, but OP God, if you wanted to make the play onto Monet, it's definitely a possibility, especially prior to that level 6 mark.
Yeah, the lane's pretty far up at the moment, so there's a lot of room to chase, especially once they start getting some more levels. And Felix dodged a lot of experience there, so he's already let OP God get the level 3. And I really think that OP, as one of probably the most experienced player on his team, him having a good game is super important for their success. And they're making a bit of a go now, 3 stacks.
Yeah, they'll go for it. Monet is burning very, very quickly. He'll try and slow them down with the Wraiths, but it may not be enough. He will die, however. He should find OP God as a trade, but they'll also end up losing Super. And that is what you call a positive trade if I've ever seen one for the side of SAG.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be more than happy with that. Even with the 16 charge wand, just wasn't enough to survive. And actually, mid lane's going really well for DD. 24 against the 11 and 1 of the Ember Spirit. So there you go.
That's kind of insane how far ahead he's gotten. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it'd be a bit of a closer match here. DD, of course, using that Devour, which, you know, you guarantee a creep here and there, but overall he's been having a good game, and Setsu will need to try and catch up. Because again, it is really based on how he's going to do this game as well. You don't really expect people like the Arc Warden or the Abaddon to make that space for the team. It's got to be this Ember.
It's a lot of damage with this Scorched Earth, and he gets the point in the Inferno Blade now, so tough time for Setsu. I do think that once he gets like level 6, level 7, he definitely has far more rotation potential than the Doom, so should be able to go and bully the side lanes a little bit. But yeah, for now, mid lane is a bit of a struggle.
That it is. Indeed, he will just keep it up. Looks like we'll also have OP God. Just farming up the jungle a little bit. Monet going to be there to contest with Super. They'll put a Wraith down, and that'll be enough to steal that large creep away from OP God. You still have to be very careful as Monet. Like, OP God is still very capable of trying to go after him. But I suppose with the lane being this pushed in, they're not going to be too concerned about it. Monet will just keep farming towards that Necro Book 1.
Yeah, so he is going for the Necro here. This was a reasonably common Arc Warden build a little while ago, so I guess in the height of the Necro meta, kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to go full like Necro 3 or anything, or if it will just be a Necro 1 kind of as the farming item, the Midas replacement.
You wouldn't quite blame him though, would you, if he did go for the Necro 3, because you get so much value out of it being able to use it twice.
Yeah, it could be good. I don't know if he'll go for it like right away. Might be Necro 1 for a little while, grab an item or two, maybe get like a Lance and a Mjolnir, and then back for more levels, depending on how the game's going and if they feel like they need to close it out. Because I do feel like they're on a little bit of a timer here. You know, 6-slotted PL is going to win this game for sure. It's just a question of whether or not they can end it before then. Doom coming out mid.
Yeah, on the Ember. Now you'll see Felix come in from the side. They do just use a quick Lucent Beam. Of course, it looks like this Ember should be denied off if he does tick out, but he's going to be alright for now. September and Super just going to surround him and make sure nobody can get close, and he will be fine. However, his Courier, or rather September's, is not going to be fine. Losing 2 Observer Wards there for the next minute and a half on that Rubik. But at least you do keep Setsu safe.
Oh, that's a real pain. And DD just grabbing a regen for himself, so
of course
he'll be fine. Gonna be pretty happy with that.
Top lane as well, Flywin. It's falling a bit low there on the Abaddon, but they won't bother trying to chase him down past that tier 1 tower. I've got to say though, Flywin, although he's farming pretty well on the Abaddon, he hasn't been able to do much in the form of slowing down God King on that PL. He's got those 3 Wraith Bands up, he's got the Gloves of Haste up. I would not be too shocked if we see this PL start going into the jungle very, very soon. Bot lane, Felix will also die. 2 support rotations out from RNG, and Monet will be able to take the kill for himself.
Yeah, September and Super just kind of playing together a little bit on the map for now, while SAG continuing to just be sort of split. I was having a look through. Red Panda hasn't gone for any stacks or anything just yet. He's continuing to just hang around on the top side of the map.
It's a bit surprising.
I guess he feels like he's been able to bully Flywin, and he doesn't want Flywin to get a lot for free. So if the position 4 isn't here, then I think it's much better for him to just be pressuring than going and stacking in the long run.
Speaking of, Felix is going to come in now. They're going to disrupt up this Abaddon, slow him down with the Lance as well, and he'll commit the shield, but here comes Felix with that Lucent Beam, and Flywin should just be dead, and is. God King will pick up another, or rather his first kill of the game on that PL. It's going to be a nice feeling. SAG, they lead by 2k net worth.
Yeah, and OP gets away from a gank at bottom. Seeing that they were making a move there, the 2 supports were running at him, but he just flapped along the edge of the map and ended up being okay.
Very nice. Oh, Setsu misses out on the Invis rune there. DD very quick with the hands, and DD also has Doom back up now. And he's rushing straight towards that Ember. Disruption gonna be there with the Doom being committed, and this should be the Ember dying here, although no, Fly when he comes in with the Aphotic Shield, and that should be enough to protect this Ember. Miscoil as well, just to make sure he doesn't get within those dangerous levels of HP. That's the second time Setsu has been saved from DD's Doom.
it's two Dooms, and you might think like, oh, this is, it feels like a little bit of a waste for SAG. But like I was saying before, Doom doesn't really have a ton of rotation potential here. I don't think he can really leave the lane all that easily, and he's continuing to win the lane just by sitting here and farming, pushing it out, going and farming jungle camps. So I think even just forcing the rotations like this is fine, and he finds a really nice neutral item here with the arcane ring. Buff up his armor a little more.
It's going to feel very, very nice. Monet will start doing the same thing in his own jungle now, trying to get that Necro book up, and he has got enough to bring it out on the courier now. So that'll be coming out. That should escalate Monet's farm quite a bit. However, Rubik ends up dying to God King. God King just taking care of that one solo, just jumping on the Rubik and getting the job done. Straight back into the lane to farm, and well, right now he is second in net worth, only to his own
They're
Doom.
trying to go on DD at mid, but the turnaround.
Now they're going to try. DD going to be in trouble. Super, he will fall, and now Setsu has to get out of there. And DD, low HP, but he's going to survive.
There's actually an insane amount of damage on this SAG side currently with the pack leader's aura. And then they've also got, it's only 2 points in the Lunar Blessing so far, but once they get all of that going, and then you combine that with the fact that, Phantom Lancer is pretty much all base damage, it's going to be pretty scary if you're RNG.
Let's say if you got a Helm of the Dominator on one of your members on SAG, and DD kept the pack leader's aura, do they stack if you had an Alpha Wolf?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, that's the whole point of the Luna Dominator, right? That's what people are kind of abusing. So yeah, it's a lot, right? It's 30% from the pack leaders plus another 20 from Dominator, and then Lunar Blessing is another 30. So what's that? 80%.
No, but
damage.
I meant if you dominated another Alpha Wolf crate.
Oh, if you have two, no. You can't have two Alpha Wolf auras. No.
All right.
Sorry, I misunderstood what you were asking.
No, not at all, not at all.
So you're trying to get going here, but keep in for Red Panda.
He needs to try, but he's going to set up for this tier 1 tower to be pushed down here by Flywin. And Flywin will get that done. Bot lane, there is no counter push happening, so RNG will find themselves with a 1 tower advantage. I suppose when you look at the draft of SAG, it does take them a bit longer to be able to force down towers with their heroes, so you probably don't expect them to make these kind of trades very early on.
Yeah, they're not the best positioned to take this, though. God King's rotating bottom, though he is sort of going for the customary play, make the swap on the safe lane towers. Does seem like Flywin, intent on holding on to this a little longer, wants to keep their space on the map. And like I was saying earlier, it does feel like if this goes super late, should be favoring SAG. So as long as, they do want to keep trading towers, but they're also not in a crazy rush either.
There might be a bit of a rush
on the Batrider now.
Yeah, you might see a smoke come out from OP God, and there is one being bought out. In fact, Red Panda had one already, so he'll pop it. Now that Blink Lasso. Oh, poor old Setsu. Might make a run for it. Felix has started a bit early, but he hasn't got any remnants out right now, I don't believe. He will remnant away, but OP right behind him, sticky napalm. Lasso does connect as well. They commit everything on this man. Setsu's still alive though, but he will accept his death. And Felix will give him the tip straight away as well. In fact, make that OP God on top.
So he didn't have a remnant out already, and then he only had enough mana for 1 remnant jump, so kind of a hard spot to be in. And I think that's part of the reason why Felix was just running at him, because he kind of clicked on him and said, wait a second, if I just keep running at him and don't let him TP away, then there's actually no way for him to escape in this spot.
Bot lane, there's a bit of a smoke going on here. DD fighting with Flywin, but he has to be very, very cautious right now. He's still sticking by that tier 1 tower, seemingly understanding something is wrong, and well, scan out as well, gonna catch him.
Yep, realizing that there might be a gank coming. I think he got a little suspicious when there was a random Necrobook just running up the river as well. And he's like, wait a second, what's going on here?
RNG, they're still gonna push down this bottom tier 1 tower. So it seems to be the
push fast.
Yeah, that seems to be the game plan, right? Like, you've got all these units, you've got the Curse of Avernus, and you could just force down towers because they can't fight back yet on SAG.
they just keep on, you know, TPing in the Abaddon to defend these lanes, hold on to the towers a little longer. And yeah, with the Dominator picked up on the Abaddon and this Necrobook on the Arc Warden, they actually do a lot of DPS to towers. And you add the Curse of Avernus on top of everything as well. Pretty scary.
That it is, and they're going to try again. Now the mid-tier 1 tower and SAG. Are they going to try and defend this one? It's probably not going to happen, just judging by how fast they're taking that tier 1, but they'll pop the glyph. Got Red Panda and Felix there, but they're not going to be anywhere near enough to defend. But maybe now with that Diffusal Blade up on God King, he may join. DD is coming in as well, but that T1 is already so low. But here comes Red Panda with the disruption. No P-God now showing his face. He does have the lasso, but he will go straight after Super. Still, a Phonic Shield will purge that off, and now Doom comes out as well. There's the Eclipse coming out from Felix Shalba, but it's not going to be enough quite yet. RNG are still not dying. There goes Fly1, however. He does go down. They do protect the tier 1 tower, and now it looks like it's time to start pressuring the opposing tier 1.
Look, all things considered, I don't think that was that bad for RNG. You know? Doom and Eclipse used, and they only lose 1. Really nice lift from September to stop the Batrider getting the drag back and kind of getting the guaranteed kill.
Certainly so. They won't even get the tier 1 either. It'll just be a lot of chip damage being dealt, and I believe that's deniable now as well, but RNG are going to leave it. And we are going to have a bit of a pause coming out here from RNG side of things.
Alright, I'm gonna take a second. So as much as the mid lane was like a very one-sided affair and the Doom is still super far ahead of the Ember, there's only so much that the Doom can currently contribute. It really needs this BKB to just be able to wade into the fights and kind of get all the Scorched Earth damage out. They do have their Diffusal now on the Phantom Lancer, and he's got a pretty nice neutral item in the Trusty Shovel, so it does seem like SAG wanting to take some of these initial fights and not wanting RNG to get too much map control over them, but still very reliant on getting a lasso for their initiation, and he's trying to lasso against a Photic Shield, against the lift, against the swap, so it's not super easy for OP, unfortunately.
No, that it is not. But they do hold a 5k net worth advantage on SAG's side, which is quite significant, like considering we're only 15 minutes into this game right now. But I suppose you could contribute that to the fact that RNG really focused on towers rather than farming right now.
But it is especially concerning when you frame it as like, oh look, RNG are up 2 towers currently, and it's still like a 5k lead. So once the bottom tier 1 and the mid tier 1 to get taken, which they eventually will, things get kind of nasty.
Yeah, Setsu's got to be careful. He's getting all his mana drained again by God King. He does have the bottle up, so he should be alright. Now RNG going to take over that dire side triangle. Maybe just try to go into the mid lane again. They seem to be very, very hell-bent on continuing this pressure up against SAG and just taking as much space off the map as possible. And Red Panda, Disruption going to be there. God King going to throw all his illusions in, but September will be alright. Just walk away with that Aphotic Shield, and SAG not going to try and make any form of a chase yet.
This is a really sneaky ward from RNG. I don't know if you spotted that, but it's just out of range of this sentry. So they're going to keep triangle vision for a little while here on RNG. It's really nice for them.
This is a nice ward. RNG. Well, there's that Hood of Defiance that God King's kind of famous for on the PL. It's one of his unique builds that he does go for, but it does really make him quite a bit harder to kill off.
Yeah, I think it's nice. I've even seen people go it like first on the Phantom Lancer and then go back for the Diffusal, but I think it's fine in this spot. I've got the Maelstrom picked up for the Arc Warden, so Mona is starting to get a little bit more fight ready. RNG, you know, they took all of the easy tier 1 tower objectives, so just gonna head into Roche now. It's only the 1 point in the Wave of Terror currently, but still more than enough damage to bring this down.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with that Curse of Avernus, and it does get scanned out that this is happening, but they're not within range to try and counter this Roshan play. It's just going down way too quick. And
they have so much attack speed.
They really do.
It's only 1 point magnetic field, and they don't even have max Curse of Avernus just yet. So We haven't even seen what they're fully capable of.
Well, that we haven't. Of course, Monet is trying to go straight after that Mjolnir, although mid lane there is going to be a lasso. Nice swap out from Super. It is going to mean the Venge dies, but he won't mind. Still DD. Pops a BKB now, going after September, and he hits like a truck. He will kill him off. That was, I believe, the 10-second charge being committed there from DD for that Rubik kill, but he does get it.
Yeah, pretty expensive, all things considered.
Yeah. They'll back off. They seem satisfied with those 2 support pickoffs they just got and just get back to farming. It seems for SAG, they just want the space. They don't... I don't think they mind too much if they contribute a lot to try and get off these kills. I think they just... As long as they feel comfortable on the map, then they'll throw whatever they need to.
Yeah, and so long as Phantom Lancer just keeps farming, so long as he's, you know, among the top on the net worth, I think they are totally fine with whatever happens this game. And that's where, you know, I was a little bit concerned about the Doom. It's not a hero that we see a ton of, but I think the same applies for this Arc Warden. We have a lot of these heroes where they come out and it's like, it's good on paper, but then the actual performance in game, you know, it's kind of always a little bit of a question mark. And for RNG, they really just have to keep the pressure going. So going for a little bit of a smoke here.
We'll try. They'll spot out Felix and Red Panda. DD just around the tree line. Now will get spotted as well, but they have met the jump onto Felix. Still Doom coming out on Setsu again. They burst down September. Still rushing onto Setsu. This Ember is falling quick. He will die. Super's gone as well. They are falling like flies right now. Monet, he'll get taken out. That's the Aegis gone. And he is surrounded. It's only him left pretty much. He'll go down.
It's so much damage. Oh my god. The Dominator plus everything else.
Oh, and he's going this unique build again onto God King. He's going for the Aghanim Scepter on the peel.
Yeah, and he's got the Imp Claw as well. So they are hitting so hard. Alright, this game might actually just be done. I don't know. RNG don't really have another big timing. They really had to... this was kind of it. Really, maybe like Mjolnir on the Arc Warden, but I don't think that's much better than having the Aegis on him. So I guess they got by this Luna pick.
That they did. We'll see if they can kind of push it back their way. You can see though, in terms of net worth, they are really struggling now. 9k advantage to SAG. Setsu, I mean, he's got the Vessel up. But he hasn't had any item progression after that. He's still trying to work towards his own Maelstrom on that Ember. Looks like it could be another while till he gets it, at least, you know, 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes. Assuming he's left to farm by himself.
Poor Setsu, he's got 0 vessel charges currently. It's just it's a bad feel for sure.
He might get ganked as well. They're moving into mid again. OP God, he just gets an easy lasso off. Now they rush in. He should be able to remnant out though. Setsu saw the lasso being committed. They might try to go for some kind of smoke play knowing it's down. But you might not want to smoke into this though. Like when you're this far behind in net worth, it's probably not worth the try. OP, he smoked his invis again. He's going up towards that top lane.
There's a sentry here. They see him, but I don't know if they can do anything about him. They have to pretend that they don't know that he's here.
He has a 10-second BKB charge as well, so it's definitely a tough one to go for right now on OP God. They will not. They'll ignore him. And, well, RNG, they've just got to just keep farming. That's all you can really ask for. You've got plenty of split push and wrap potential there with the Arc Warden as well. Though he did go treads, so I guess you're kind of limited in some way.
Yeah, I guess. I also just don't know if it's a game where like a 6-slotted Arc Warden is really that much of a threat, because all 3 of the enemy cores can just kind of get up in your face. Like the Doom now with the BKB can easily just walk through the fight to you. The Phantom Lancer is going to have this Aghanim Scepter, so he's going to have the rush from a million range to whenever you show up, she'll just be right on top of you, and then Batrider, of course, with the blink and the BKB. So I think even if the Arc Warden was like 4 or 5 slotted, I just don't know how much of a difference it would would make in these fights. And now SAG taking the fight to them.
Why not? You know you're ahead. You've got the lasso back up. Even OP got now with a haste rune up, and he does pop it. Mjolnir is there for Monet, but they get the lasso. Nice swap out though from Super. The Eclipse will do nothing. Monet will just try and run away here, but here comes God King rushing onto Super, going for that Venge. Another swap out now onto Flywin, but Super will still die, and now the Banish is there onto that Abaddon. They do also get September on the Rubik. And that was just DD by himself down to the bot lane, not even committing Doom for that. He just rushed the Rubik and gets the kill.
Yeah, just ran him down, especially with this Grove Bow as well. The extra magic, the magic debuff. He's getting completely shredded with Infernal Blade and Scorched Earth, and now he's got a Shiva's.
Jeez.
So he can wade into the fights even more at this point.
It's very, very hard now for RNG. We'll see the Maelstrom come out now on Setsu, so you've got a bit of bonus damage coming out now of this Ember. But it seems very reactionary, right, to the PL pick. You just need to have a way of dealing with these illusions.
Yeah.
It's not like amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a counter by any stretch of the imagination. It is, I mean, it's a nice item, for sure. And I do think it's pretty standard, but I don't think it's a huge game changer or anything.
Especially when you've got that Hood of Defiance already up on God King anyway. So he blocks out a lot of that magic damage from that Maelstrom. And Flywin loses so much HP so quick. Now they're going to rush him again. God King just going through the borrowed time. Flywin has no mana left and he's just dead. It's that Aghanim Scepter.
Super's next.
Yeah, Super's just gone as well. Target. He just keeps rushing.
He still sees September.
Going after him, he TP's out just in the nick of time. If he was half a second later, he would have died there on the Rubik as well. In this Aghanim Scepter build, having the Phantom Rush on a 4-second cooldown, he makes it look so darn good.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice item. This game. Your main objective is just get on top of the Arc Warden. He's going to be pretty far back, especially with the the Venge Aura. So. But yeah, this is not looking very easy. I think the other thing to point at this game is that the mid lane matchup ended up being really, really hard for Setsu, and he just never really got the ball rolling. He's 0-2-0 so far.
Oof, not even one assist.
He really just hasn't had that much of a game.
It's rough. I mean, that's something we kind of briefly mentioned in the draft as well. He needed to have a good game. Setsu gonna get jumped now. Does he have a Remnant out? He doesn't. No, he does. Okay, yeah, I was about to say.
A little bit. Yeah, it was just about the timeout, but...
That's good news. Is there a way back into this game for RNG? I mean, you briefly said before that you think the game might just be over at this point. It's, well, they're going to rush him again, SAG, it seems like. They seem to agree with you on that one. Take over the triangle. RNG might go for the fight, but there is DD jumping into the backlines with that Doom. Now the lasso out as well. The swap was already committed. Super is in trouble. So is the Arc Warden. Monet dies and Super dies as well. Now Setsu try to Remnant out, but it's to no good. They just keep rushing him. They'll get that kill as well, and the GG's been called. 26 minutes into game number 1 of the lower bracket final. SAG, they make it look so easy.
Yeah, it was great. I think every lane went pretty fantastic for them. That final gotcha in the draft of bumping the Luna over. That's the only reason that RNG picked this Arc Warden, right? They're like, okay, we know that SAG, they're all about their big carry. We think that it's going to be the Luna. We're going to counterpick with the Arc Warden. Suddenly the Phantom Lancer comes out as the last pick, and it's just like, well, what do we do now? And then, of course, even on top of that, the mid lane just being such a one-sided mess for RNG.
We'll see if they can turn it around in game number 2. This is, of course, the best of 3 lower bracket final. It is MLP Dota and the lovely Basskip. And we'll see you all again in about 10 minutes for that second game.